You are watching Fugitive Red Eye, and this is another Random Thoughts, where I just talk about random things that are on my mind and try to direct it towards a specific topic, but usually end up veering off at some point. These are always, of course, unscripted and irrelevant to anything else. It's just kind of a way for me to ramble on about what's in my mind. So, without further ado, I'll start with today's topic, which I'd like to start about, which is the evolution of TV shows. And I don't mean TV shows as a whole, I mean how specific series develop over time. For instance, you take an example like Red vs. Blue. It's a web series, if you don't know, which I assume a lot of you do. Created by Rooster Teeth. It's a machinima using gameplay footage from the Halo series to make a comedy series. Now, initially Red vs. Blue was created for just 6 episodes, and it was just strictly comedy-based. And wasn't really big on all, the whole concept of a big, overarching plot. But as the series gained popularity, it began to develop more and more, and evolved into something much, much more deep. It has a very good storyline. In fact, I would argue it has a better storyline now than Halo itself. Has really great in-depth character development, has a lot of drama to it, in addition to the comedy. And, I don't know, it just has a lot of action, really draws you in. It's really grown as a series. And it's all the better for it. Another good example is Moral Oral. It's a show that aired on Adult Swim for a while, and it started out simply as a parody of religion, just a satire. It was created strictly to make fun of, religion and the whole concept of how society is, and, things like that. And it takes, anyway, but at the end of the second season, something very drastic changed for the third season. It became much more of a drama and actually became a lot more in-depth and became a real look at the way life actually is. It's really depressing. In fact, there is no happy ending to it, really. None of the characters are good people in the end. I mean, you find out how deeply flawed everyone is, and they have their reasons for it, and it's really sad and depressing. The reason that it's so good, though, is because it becomes so real towards the end. I mean, yeah, it's still a comedy, and it's still claymation, and obviously it's all fictional, and, there's a lot of surrealism to it. But in the end of the day, towards the end of the series, some of the concepts they deal with are really real, and even a little controversial. Well, obviously controversial, the whole series is controversial, because it's a big way to bash religion, but at the end of it, there was actually a few episodes that never got produced, just because the series got canceled. They were actually going to make an episode dealing with rape, which is an even bigger hot-button topic now than it was in the 2000s when the series first started, or when the series aired, actually, But anyway, as far as that goes, the series really did evolve over time, much for the better. Another example is South Park. I mean, South Park initially started out as a kind of just a surrealist, complete absurdity, show that was controversial for its time, and still is to this day, because, it's still airing. But anyway, when South Park first started, they were all character-driven episodes with a bunch of crazy plots and things like that. Nowadays, they are still character-driven, obviously, to a point, but for the most part, they take a current topic and satirize it to show kind of a deeper meaning to, like, South Park is a very smart comedy when you really break it down. Nowadays, anyway. It's always been semi-satirical, but it's really taken a full-on satire spin in the later seasons. I do love the later seasons. I mean, the first few seasons are probably some of my favorites, but as I've said in a previous video, that series never does seem to get old, and as far as that goes, the last 2 seasons have had an actual continuity to them, which I love. So, again, it looks like I didn't really go off topic that much for this video. I stayed to talking about the evolution of TV series. Most series, great the way they develop. The Walking Dead, on the other hand, I'm not that big into anymore, just because after about season 3, it just became formulaic and I got sick of it. So, anyway, that's that. I hope you enjoyed, and please tune in next